Hello everybody, welcome back. It is October 16th, 2024. It's Wednesday night, and I'm here to talk to you a little bit about my stitching. I've been rolling the die. I keep getting a 2. I've had 2 for 2 days now. But now my number 2 is for Christmas Parade, as well as my number 1, because I had finished all of my extras. I've pulled them all in. So Christmas Parade now has 2 numbers, 1 and 2, and I rolled 2 for today. So this is what it's going to look like when I finish it, or something similar to that. And today I decided to work on something that's given me trouble, and that is the border. When I first started this a couple of years ago, or last year, I think it was last year, at my guild retreat last March, I had a hard time with this border, and I had to rip out a whole lot when I was first getting started with it. And so I decided today to really work on that border, and I did it all the way across. I've pulled it all the way across. So that is the end of the border that goes across the top. I also came down and I stitched the H, the I, the K, the J, this little heart, and the 2 motifs next to the heart. So doing all of that was 590 stitches today. So now you can see this is how big it's going to be, which is great. And I didn't go back to filling in that coat because that'll be easy stitching while I'm away this weekend if this gets called. But I wanted to do one of the harder parts today while I was still at home and had the time to concentrate on that. So that's what I did. So now I am leaving tomorrow morning about 8:15, somewhere in there. To go to Alabama to a retreat house that we've rented. There's a group of us that are going, and I'm really looking forward to that. I'm taking my October bingo game with me because as I stitch everything every day, I'm submitting that and marking it off. So I'm going to take that with me. Other than that, I think today was an exquisite day. My friend, well, first I got to talk to my sister Stephanie. Then my friend Juliana came to stitch with me, and we had a couple of big plans. We wanted to work on my markup RXP and get see if we couldn't get that to work a little bit easier. My tablet is an Android tablet, and I'm having a hard time getting my Apple computer where I'm scanning my patterns in to pull that into my RXP. So Juliana had an idea, and she tried it today, and it worked. And so she did a whole lot of configuration and created some new accounts for me and got it to where I can do it so much easier. So Juliana, thank you very much. So then I had gotten an email from the library yesterday from Gabrielle, who is the librarian that we work with there for our group. And Gabrielle had let me know that she had received an email from a lady in town who was a patron of the library and knew that they had a stitching group there. And this lady is no longer able to cross stitch. And she had her entire stash that she wanted to get rid of. But she wanted it to go to stitchers who would appreciate it. So Gabrielle reached out to me in an email, and she just said, would you be willing to contact this lady? And I said, of course. So I emailed Agnes and let her know about our group and that I was happy to help her in any way I could. And she told me that she was an avid stitcher, that antique samplers were her special area of interest, and that she had a lot of them fully kitted. Some of them started, and she has had 2 surgeries on her hands, and she can no longer stitch. So Agnes and I chatted a bit. We had made arrangements for Juliana and I to go to Agnes's house today and pick up a couple of her boxes of cross stitch supplies. She had boxed everything up in 2 big boxes. She had them in her garage waiting on us, and we pulled up, and Agnes came out, and we instantly hugged each other and greeted each other as fellow stitchers, and she let us know the 2 boxes were for us to take, and we chatted a bit, and Juliana and I brought the boxes to my house. We spent a lot of this afternoon going through those boxes, and I will tell you, it was like Christmas. This lady's stitching is beautiful. She stitched in hand a lot, but she also had a whole collection of Q-snaps. Her samplers were kitted up, for the most part, with silks, specialty flosses. Some were Belle Soie. So it was a treasure trove, let me tell you. So I picked one thing for myself. There is a Mirabilia that I have admired. Tina Stitches has been working on it. And also Yergita from Coffee and Stitches with Yergita has, I think, finished hers. But it's the 4 dresses, the 4 seasonal dresses. And I think the name of it is The Dressmaker's Daughter, something like that. Anyway, I know when they're stitching it, I think Tina had problems sourcing some of the treasures or beads, and I'm not sure if Yergita had any trouble with that or not, but let me tell y'all something. The kit was there with all the flosses, all the specialty fibers, all the beads, and all the treasures. Everything that you would need to do that. I have admired that piece, and the only reason I hadn't gotten it and put it in my collection to do was hearing how hard it was now to source those things that you needed to make it look as beautiful as it's supposed to look. So I now have it all. So that's what I took as my gift from Agnes. And then Juliana found a Halloween piece that she fell in love with. It was a Glendon Place. Same situation. It's kitted with all the fibers and fabric and everything, and it's started. Mine wasn't started, but hers was. And so she took that for herself. And then we started putting out phone calls. We sent texts with pictures. We opened out these beautiful antique samplers and took pictures of the pattern cover and what Agnes had stitched, if she had stitched anything on it, so people could see where they would be adopting the whip. And we reached out to some of our friends that we know are avid sampler stitchers from our stitching group and said, do you want any of these? And we started getting texts back. Yes, please. This is the one I want. This is the one I want. And so we divvied them up, quite a few of them today, and I've got people's names on them. And as it turns out, I will be seeing all of the people we contacted today. I'll be seeing them this weekend. All the people we contacted that wanted something, I'll be seeing them this weekend. And so I'm taking those to them like Christmas. I have several patterns and Q-snaps and a magnifying piece, just all kinds of tools and things that were Agnes's that I'm going to put on our freebie table or at our, for our raffle at our stitching meetup. We have a free one. You just pull a ticket and put a ticket in the things you want. But we always put our nicest things on the raffle table, and then we put everything else on a freebie table. But I've got things for both, which will be great. And I am happy to say that out of 36 kitted projects We probably have about 12 left that haven't been adopted already. And I still get to take them to my stitching meetup and see if anybody is interested in that, or a guild meeting to see if we have some really good, you know, sampler stitchers that would want them. So I'm excited about that and happy that I got to spend the afternoon with Juliana going through all these treasure troves of patterns and kits. Most of them Agnes kitted herself. A few of them look like she bought the kit, you know, like she bought the specialty floss and beads and things as a kit. But I think most of it she did herself. And I went ahead and I've already messaged Agnes back and told her how much fun we had this afternoon going through everything, and that we've already adopted out several of her patterns. And she was thrilled to death. Absolutely thrilled. And the only thing she asked me is, would it be possible to ever share finishes with her if somebody finished something? And I think that's a great idea. And I'm going to tell everybody that. So, you know, stitchers are very generous. And Juliana was blown away today at the value of what Agnes just gave to us to share with other stitchers who would appreciate it. There was a lot of value in that box, a lot of money that someone had spent on their hobby and kitted this up in the best possible way. So much silk and just beautiful fibers that went with those packages. We've kept them all together. She did. They were all together. They were all sorted together. And we've kept them that way so that whoever adopts it gets everything that comes with it. And I think that's wonderful. So that was a meaningful day. It was just wonderful, wonderful experience to get to meet Agnes, and to see her work was amazing. Anyway, I then got back to stitching. Juliana and I got a little bit of stitching done today. Not a lot, but we got a little bit done. And so you saw the results of that. And now I'm just going to finish packing up my travel bag for my stitching. I have everything else downstairs ready to go for when Donna picks me up in the morning. And I'll be ready. So I am excited about it. I talked to the homeowner today for the retreat location that we've rented, and I'll let her know about what time we're planning on being there tomorrow. And I can't wait to meet her in person. And her two dogs. She has two dogs, and she told me all about them today. And do you know, she told me we have to be careful and lock our door, because if we don't lock the door to the retreat house, one of her dogs knows how to open the door, and her dog will come in, walk around everywhere, see things that he might want, new toy for him, and he'll take it and bury it. So she said she's found gloves and hats and socks and everything this little puppy has. Well, it's a big dog. She said big white dog. But she told me that she'll introduce us to them after we all get there. And the dogs are friendly, but they do bark at cars. And so she said they scare people because this dog is a fairly large dog. But the dog won't bother you at all. And I'm looking forward to meeting the dogs and seeing the dogs. But we've been talking, and the homeowner asked if we minded if she came and kind of took a gander at what we were doing. And because of us talking with her about wanting to come to that location, because of the LNS, that Gary and Ronnie's LNS there at Garon Stitchery is only 15 minutes from her home. And I told her that we wanted to go shopping there while we were there, and that was one of the things that attracted us to coming over there. She didn't know about their shop, but after talking with me, she went over and met them, introduced herself to Ronnie and Gary, and they started talking about how Ronnie and Gary would be willing to recommend her place, you know, to people that are coming for like a class or something in the area. And she told me today she would like to put a reference and a link to their shop on her website. Wouldn't that be fun? So anyway, I'm hoping that that goes super well. I'm glad they've met. I was going to ask if the guys wanted to come over and meet her. And so now she's already taken care of that. She went and met them and found out that they started up their businesses in the same month. So isn't that amazing? So there you go. I'm going to say goodnight now. I'm going to head to bed. And I'll be traveling over the next 2 or 3 days. So I don't know how much I'll be recording. But I'll try to share everything with you I can. I hope that you have a great weekend yourself. I know I will. And until we get to talk again, happy stitching, everybody. Good evening, everybody. Welcome. This is Dina, and this is my channel about cross stitch. Today is actually October 21st. And I am here to tell you all about my stitching over the last few days because I have been on a retreat, a little private retreat. A friend of mine from church had made me aware that their cousin in Alabama had opened up sort of a retreat center. She's a quilter, and originally her retreat center was for quilters. And now she's decided that there are other crafters who might enjoy coming. And so we were her first cross stitch group to try it out. And I contacted my friend Donna, and I had talked with some of my fellow stitchers that live too far away to get to come to our Saturday meetups because I hadn't seen them in about a year, and asked if they would like to all meet there for a long weekend. And we did. So there were 6 of us there from Thursday to Sunday, and we had a blast. So I'll have a bunch of pictures and stuff in here as I go through. I'll tell you all about it. When we got there on Thursday, we all stitched a little. We went out to eat together, and then we stitched some more that evening. And my call for that day was October Wordplay. And I'll remind you of what that looks like. It's one of the Brenda Gervais word plays. You got one for every month, as you know. And so I put some stitches in. I put in 262 stitches in my October wordplay. Let me find it. Here we go. I've got 4 on this piece of fabric. You can tell I'm sleepy, huh? And this is where I got to. I am so tickled. So for now, I have the word autumn, witch, and I have a few motifs, some pumpkins and a bird to go in this section down here, and this will be finished. So I very well may work on this tonight. I don't know. I have a Zoom call, and so I may pull this out to work on it a little bit. I don't know. We shall see. But that was what I stitched on for my roll of the dice for my 3 months to the finish line. And I used it for my bingo call because I had over 100 stitches in it, which was great. So I decided at that point that I would roll the dice for my next roll. And one of the themes that we had for the weekend was new starts. We each had committed to starting 3 new starts if we could. And most people did that. There were a couple who couldn't. One was my friend Donna. She had to work on a model stitch for one of the designers that she stitches for, and she's getting close to her deadline to have it finished. And so she quietly sat by herself and stitched on that. And did quite a bit of that stitching every day so that she could get that one finished in time. So she only got 2 new starts out of the weekend, but we made up for that because 3 of us got 4 new starts. So we did some extra starts for Donna. My first new start, and I used it for my die roll that time as well, is Erica Michaels' 8 Maids of Milking. It's the one in the middle. And newsflash, it is the last berry in the series. When I finish 8 Maids of Milking, I will have done all 12, and then I can start fully finishing them. So I got 429 stitches in this weekend, and this is where I got to. So I have done all of the bottom of the berry right here, and what I have left now are the other 6 maids that go around here. And then there's a fill-in of grass in here, in between where the cow is. So this is a good one, possibly to finish this month. I would love to. I'll tell you more about my plans in a little bit. But that occurred on Thursday when I got to my retreat. So then we got up Friday. We had a busy, busy day Friday. We had a lot to do. We decided to try out the framer that Gary and Ronnie use. And we went over to his frame shop. And when we got there, he was at lunch. The shop was closed. But we could hear the little puppy dog barking inside. So we knew he wasn't far. And we just chose to wait a few minutes. And sure enough, he came back. And we were able to get 3 ladies got something framed. So they left their items there, picked frames with him, and gave him their address to ship everything, back to them. I had originally been the one to say, would y'all like to go take something to be framed? And then I was the one that forgot to take mine. It's laying out over there on my ironing board, and I forgot to take it. Oh, well, I would have forgotten my head if it wasn't attached this weekend because I was so excited about going. But anyway, so we started out at the frame shop that morning, and then we had seen, the last time we were there for the grand opening, we had seen a quilt shop in the area. So we went to the quilt shop looking primarily for backing fabric. We wanted to see what they had, and as it turned out, one of the ladies with us is a young mama. She has a 9-month-old son, and she saw a quilt she fell in love with. And her name is Kristen, and you may know her from Two Georgia Peaches. She's Victoria's daughter. And Victoria has a floss tube of her own called Victoria's Crafty Room. And she and Kristen have done a few videos together under Two Georgia Peaches, so you can go see all of them. But Kristen fell in love with this quilt, and so she replicated a similar quilt. She used the pattern for it, but she picked her own fabrics. And so I will insert a picture now of Kristen holding her quilt top that she made this weekend. Isn't it beautiful? Oh, we were so proud of her. She got the fabrics. She got 8 different fabrics, and she cut out all of her squares one night, and then the next day she started piecing her top together, and she got all the strips together. And the next morning, she put all the strips into one piece. So now she's got her top almost made. She's just got to do her finishing edging around, and then have it quilted, and then she can bind it, and she'll be finished. But she got so much done. We were so proud of her. Anyway, Kristen, it's beautiful. I can't wait to see it finished. So after we left the quilt store, we went to Garand Stitchery. There were several ladies who had planned starts, but they either need a piece of fabric or they needed some of their flosses they didn't have for their new starts. And since we were trying to do one every day, we went on over to Garand Stitchery and let them get the stuff they needed. Of course, we all shopped. And then we already had plans to go over and stitch with Gary and Ronnie on Saturday. And once they closed up, we were going to go to dinner with them. But we wound up going over Friday too. So that was great. When we got through, we went to dinner. We went to dinner at a little Italian place. The chef there had been cooking since he was 7 years old, and everything was from scratch. But the unusual part about it is the restaurant is inside a filling station. It's really quite odd. But our hostess had told us about it and told us the food was really good. And the food was good. The selection was limited, but the food was good. And so we ate there, and then we came on back to the retreat center where we stitched. So I was a little bit, late getting started on some of my stitching. However, I did get 3 things worked on in the course of the day, because we didn't leave until about 10 o'clock that morning because the stores had to open. And then we didn't get back until after supper. I stitched late though, so I got some stuff done. So let me show you what I got done. Let me see what's in what. Okay. There is a freebie online from Teresa Kogut, and it is called Boos, Hisses, and Cross Stitches. And if I can, I'll try to get a picture of it off of my email, and I'll try to just snap a picture of it and put it in here. But I got that started, and I started it on a remnant I had called Mind Blown. This is what I stitched when I think of stitching by Puntini on this fabric, and this is the remnant that I had left. And I got a start in it. I got put in 420 stitches in it so far, and I think it's going to be really cute. I'm really tickled with it. So that was my second new start. And then I put it away once I got to that point because I felt like I had enough stitches in it to count it as a good start. And I wanted to work on my third new start. So my third new start was a freebie from Teresa Kogut. Did I say the Boos, Hisses, and Cross Stitches wasn't Teresa Kogut? I apologize. It was from Primerose Cottage, and it was from their email, their Friday freebie. Then Teresa Kogut had put out a freebie that we decided that we would kit up and we would gift. Donna and I gifted this to every person who came to the retreat, and it's called Hey Friends, Let's Stitch. Isn't that cute? We hadn't put fabric in everything. We put everything else in that they would need. So some people went ahead and bought fabric and started it, and I was one of those that bought a brand new piece of fabric to start it. So this is my beautiful fabric that I got, and it is called Butterscotch Cookies, and it is from Fabrics by Stephanie. And this is my start on it. So I got the Hey Friends, Let's Stitch, and I got the first lady's head in there. And one of the ladies had a great idea. She's going to put all of our initials on hers, all of us that were at the retreat. And I think I'm going to do that as well. Somewhere I'll put 6 sets of initials on here. I'm thinking I will put 1 set each on the girls, like a name tag. And then I think I'm going to put at least 2 on. One of them's carrying a bag, like a sewing bag, and the other one has a basket, and I think I can put 2 sets of initials in each of those if I do them really small. And that way we could have all 6 of us on there. But that was that new start. And I got another 420 stitches. That seems to be my starting point in there. And then it was time to stitch on my die roll. So I rolled the die and I got Christmas Parade. And I stitched 261 stitches on my Christmas Parade. Now, That wasn't the only time I stitched on it, so I'm not showing it to you yet because I'm not through telling you how many times I stitched on it. So I stitched on it that day, and then the next day when I rolled the die, on the 20th, it was the same one. So, because, you know, I have 2 numbers for that now because I have had a finish. So I did it again, and I stitched 907 stitches on my Christmas parade. So I want to show you where I got to on my Christmas parade. I got this little precious squirrel put in there. I got Santa's coat finished. I got this L put in and the Christmas tree put in. So I've worked this all the way down and across, and now I've come back up here and I'm coming down from here, and then there'll be one more section because I have a fox and a bunny rabbit and a reindeer to stitch across here before I'm finished. So there's a whole lot more left to this one. But I wanted to show it to you because that's what I was stitching on for the roll of the dice. So I rolled it for today, and guess what? It came up again. So I'm going to stitch on it for about 100 stitches, and then I'm going to put it away. And then I think I will pull back out my October wordplay and let that be my stitch for tonight, you know, when I'm zooming, just to get a few more stitches into that one. So let me tell you a little bit about the rest of the retreat. We had the most beautiful place to stitch. It was right next to a small lake that feeds off of a river, but we had beautiful wildlife. We didn't get to see the bald eagle that visits there, but we did get to see a heron, and we got to see him fishing, and we got to see him catch a fish and eat it. There was a dog there. There were 2. Our hostess, Sharon, has 2 dogs, but one stays in the house. He's blind, and he doesn't go anywhere. But Hannah roams, and Hannah is a beautiful reddish-brown hound of some kind, and she is the sweetest-natured little thing. But Hannah is very clever. She knows how to open the door to the retreat center. It has one of those handles that just flips down like this, and she can jump on it and hit that handle and come in. And so Sharon said that you have to watch her because she goes in and she looks around while you're there, just scouting out what might be laying around that she'd like to play with, and she doesn't bother it while you're there. And then when you leave, she'll go in the retreat center and go get what she wants, and then she buries it in the backyard. So Sharon said she has found people's gloves, socks, you know, hats, whatever has caught her eye. So we were cautioned to keep the door locked, at least to the outside, and if we didn't, at least shut our bedroom doors so she couldn't get in our luggage. But we just went outside on the back porch or in the front and played with Hannah. Somebody did every few hours. We'd go out and pet her and love on her because she was so sweet. And so at one point we went outside, and Hannah was taking a nap on one of the couches on the back porch, which she's not supposed to be on the furniture, but she was. And she was taking a nap, and we didn't bother her. She was so precious. I'll put a picture in here of Hannah napping on the back porch. So it was sweet and fun for us to get to see her. It helped us with our puppy fixes, you know, because most of us have puppies, and you can't bring animals or children there. So we were missing our puppies, and Hannah was helping us get through that. But we had a great time. The kitchen is well appointed, and so we had an air fryer, toaster oven kind of thing that was all in one. And we had leftovers one day at lunch. We put all of our leftover chicken strips that we had gotten at the diner the first night we were there. They give you so much food, none of us could eat it all. So we just put them all together and heated them all up, and heated up some fried green tomatoes in the air fryer that we had left over, and French fries that we had left over. And we just divvied it up. All had lunch. It was great. On Saturday night, we went to a Mexican restaurant there called Rodeo, and it is fabulous. And Donna and I had decided that we were going to split nachos for dinner, and we were getting chicken fajitas to take home for the last day that we were there, so we could have lunch before we left and just hit the road and travel. So that's what we did. And we split those nachos, and they were delicious. So then on Sunday, right before we left, we sauteed back up those chicken fajitas, and we had the tortillas with them and the chips for them, and 3 of us ate off of that one meal, and we still had leftovers. We had just a little bit left over that we had to throw away, but not too bad. So I will tell you, if you ever decide that you want to go on a little retreat, the maximum number is 6. The minimum is 4. Look at Southern Treasures Retreats. Just look them up on Facebook, or, you know, go on Google and Google Southern Treasures Retreats. And I will put Sharon's information in the drop-down box. I will put the name of her place and her contact information so you can check them out. I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed. The place is beautiful. This lady has thought of everything. We had towels. We had a bath towel, a hand towel, and a face towel, each on our beds, all different colors. Mine were aqua blue. Someone else's was a light green. Someone else's would be, you know, a pink. Every set of towels was a different color so that you didn't get your towels mixed up in the 2 bathrooms. And then Sharon told me, I hadn't noticed it, but she planned it. She put the towels on the foot of your bed that matched your quilt on your bed, because Sharon had handmade all the quilts on the beds. And my quilt had an aqua blue coloring in it. Most of it was blue, and the aqua was in there. So my towels were aqua blue. So each quilt had a main color, and that main color matched your towel. She said she did that so in case you forgot what color towel you had, you just look at your quilt and you could figure it out. She also told us she had extra towels available there in the closet, and she showed us where they were. Our tables were 6-foot long tables, and we each had one to ourselves. I've never had so much room at a retreat. I don't even have that much room when I have people come stitch with me at my house. It was amazing. I can't tell you enough about how fun it was. A couple of things I really, really like that Sharon has done, and that is she gives you a quote per night per person. So if you have a minimum of 4, it's that rate for you per night. If you have 6, it's the same rate per night for you. So, you know, your rate doesn't change whether you have 4 people or 6 people. It's not more if you only have 4. You know, they don't charge you the extra to make up for 6 people. She's very gracious about that. Right now, her maximum is 6. You can have guests during the day, but nobody can spend the night there. And I asked her about allowing for people to pay like a reduced rate and maybe come over for the whole day. Like if we had a retreat, some people could bring their travel trailer, or they decided to stay in a hotel and just come over every day. So she said she would think about that, and she'll let me know if she decides to do that. But for now, it is a retreat for a minimum of 4, maximum of 6. It's for you and your friends to just go and hang out. So give it a shout, give it a look. And if you go, tell Sharon that Dina sent you. Just so she'll know the word is getting out. She just opened this retreat center last April 1st, or toward the beginning of the month. Ronnie and Gary just opened their stitching shop, Garon Stitchery, the end of April, I think the 27th or something like that. So they're coming, both of them are coming up on their 1-year anniversary. And I think that's a sweet thing for them to share. While we were there, we invited Ronnie and Gary to come see the place, because I had told them that we were going to check it out. So when we went to their shop on Saturday and we stitched with them and then went to dinner with them, I said, you need to come by tomorrow before we leave and see this place so you can tell your customers what you saw. Not just what Dina said, but what you saw. So they did. They came over and they met Sharon again, because she had been to their shop to meet them, because I told her about them. And she wanted to meet them. So now she is putting a reference on her website, sending folks to Gary and Ronnie, and Gary and Ronnie have her business cards in their shop. And I think that's awesome. Two small businesses trying to help each other out. I think that's great. So that's fun. That's what I have to share with you for today. I do have a couple of things that were gifted to me at the retreat, special things made by my friends, but I'm not going to share all that right now because this has been kind of a long segment, but I just wanted to tell you what a great time we had, and that it was a fabulous retreat. It was a reprieve. It was a rejuvenation time. We all talked and visited together. We had a new person who came with us who hadn't been on retreat with me before, not on a small retreat like that before, because my friend Juliana was supposed to go and she had to cancel. Her friend Lynn jumped in and said I asked Lynn if she would like to take Juliana's place, and she said of course, and so she did. So we missed Juliana, but it gave everybody a chance to really get to meet Lynn, and so that was a sweet, bittersweet thing, but wonderful. And we all had such a good time. So I keep trying to find a way to finagle it where I can get another person or two there so that Juliana and Lynn can come. Because now I don't want to make one of them have to stay back, you know, just because we can only have 6 people. But I tell you what, it was a great trip. So if you ever get the chance to just get some friends together for the weekend, do it. Even if it's at your house, do it. It's so much fun. Okay, I'm going to let you go. I have to go get ready. I have friends coming from Alabama to visit my husband and I, and they're going to be here tomorrow. And they will be here through Thursday. So Tommy and John are going to take a hike on Wednesday. I think Bonnie and I are going to do some visiting of a sick friend, and then we are going to go to lunch together, and then we'll come back here, and I'll probably stitch while Bonnie either naps or hangs out with me up here in my stitching room. And then Thursday they have to go home. I'm not sure what time. I hope late in the afternoon, but they do have a 5-hour trip, so they probably won't wait too long before they head home. But I'm so looking forward to see them. We stay with them whenever we can when we go to Alabama for a retreat. We visit them ahead of time, and we meet them in the mountains on occasion, so we try to see them as often as we can. We used to be good buddies in Warner Robins together. We used to hang out together quite a bit. And Tommy and John both run together, they've hiked together, and they've biked together, so they're good buds. And I think they're going to take a hike on Wednesday, which will be great fun. So I have to get ready. I have to make sure that my guest room is all ready and fresh and all that good stuff you do when you're having company. So I'm going to let you get on with your stitching, and I do hope that you all are having a great start to your week, and I hope you had a great weekend. Whatever you're working on, enjoy it. Happy stitching, everybody. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is Dina. It is October 24th. It's been a little while since I've talked to you. I've had company, and I have just been enjoying my friends, and we have been going around out to eat, and just having a great time together. My friend was reading a book here that I thought she might enjoy while I was stitching. She doesn't stitch, but she loves to just sit and talk with me while I stitch, and so I got a little stitching done, especially yesterday. Our husbands went off on a hike. They took Coco with them, so we had a girls' day. It was nice. I want to share with you what I've been stitching since about the 21st. The last thing I shared with you was my Christmas parade. I'm still working on it. I'm not finished with it, but you saw that on the 21st. And then later that day, in order to meet my bingo requirement and my, I just felt like this was the closest one to a finish, I went ahead and worked on my October wordplay, and I finished it. So here's my October wordplay. And now I am happy to report I only have 3 wordplays left to stitch. And I have kitted up the pattern with the floss on the November, but I am going to have to find another piece of fabric because, oh no, I've got one more spot. I'll be using this piece of fabric again because I have August, September, and October on this one, and I have a spot left. Okay, so then on September the 22nd and the 23rd, I rolled the same roll, and it was for, well, it wasn't the same roll. It was, yeah, it was 4. I rolled it twice. It was from my Zephyr Hill sampler, and as you may recall, I'm working on the first third for this finished line project. And between the 2 days, I put in 770 stitches, and I finished it. Yay! I was working on this while my friend was here, and I just kept on working on it and kept on working on it. I was down at the bottom trying to get those pinwheels done. And so I just kept working on it till I finished it last night. And so now I'm ready to pull out part 2 next year when I start working on finishing up all my series. This will now go into that group of stitching. And I'll remind you when I finish it what it will look like. It'll look like this. So part 2 is the middle with the house. And it goes to about the middle of the words right here. And then part 3 is that part. But it went pretty quick. I'm excited about putting it in my plans for next year. Pardon the zipper. I don't want anything to fall out. I just dropped a whole bag of stuff a minute ago. And so I finished that. Then I pulled out All You Need Is Love. So this is a beautiful piece by Battecoure. It's a sort of a, I'm using it for a Valentine's Day piece, but it has a nod to the Beatles. Quite a big nod to the Beatles, actually. But I've been working on this just a little bit, and I put in 266 stitches on this last night while I was chatting with my friend until we were ready to go to bed. So this is where it got to. I finished her face. I had her hair, so I went ahead and put in her face, which is great. So now I'll just start working on that little girl, go all across with the people, and try to work my way across there as I go. So this was my, I guess you would call it my free day stitch. It was when after I rolled the dice for like 6 days straight, I give myself permission to stitch on anything I want for a little bit. And so that is what I did. So that brings us to today. Today's roll turned out to be my number 3. My new number 3 is 8 Maids of Milking. 3 and 5 are 8 Maids of Milking. So I pulled her out this morning and I stitched 266 stitches in it. So I stitched 2 of the little girls and the green border for the grass and the heart and the bird. I got a lot done this morning. So now it's time for me to roll and see what I will be stitching on today. So I will do that, and after I stitch a while and have something to come back and share with you, I will do that. In the meantime, happy stitching, everybody. All right, here we go. This is the craft room. Let Donna get dressed before
Donna wears her sweatshirt.
This is our
and shorts.
working stations. Kitchen. And have a living room and bedrooms in there.
Yeah. Yep, I recognize
Living room
that look.
with the 2 bedrooms and bath. Say hi!
Hi!
Here
Thank
we
you for being here today.
This is right outside the living room. Our deck. And the beautiful lake. This is a gorgeous place. We're so blessed.